and welcome back to BizDev Weekly, the business development show. I'm Kersten Kloss, and I'm here with Chris Hamilton from salestipaday.com. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Kersten.
Okay, so Chris, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I like to call myself an entrepreneur. Essentially, I'm out there selling products and services to companies, and I'm always trying to get paid. And I once attended a seminar by a banking firm. Essentially, I won't give them a plug, as we all love to hate our banks. But these guys gave me a really good tip that I never forgot, and that is that the last person to get paid by a company is usually the entrepreneurial person who's basically a service provider to a company. Their companies are going to pay their taxes, they're going to pay their banks, they're going to pay their landlord, and the last person in that chain is going to be you and I as entrepreneurs. So he said the most important thing to do when you go into a business relationship and you start selling products and services to companies is send the invoice first, before you start sending and building out the products and delivering the products. He says that way you get them onto a routine of being sensitized to the fact that they got to pay you. And they said most entrepreneurs, what they do is they procrastinate. They get so busy, involved in working on delivering the product and making the client happy that they forget to get payment for the product. Chris, have you encountered that situation before?
Never, Kersten. All my clients are wonderful, and they pay me on time all the time. Obviously, that's facetious. There are situations where you especially as a small business, I have contractors that work for me, and I make sure they're paid immediately. But when I don't get paid, it wreaks havoc on my cash flow and paying people. I got to dip into lines of credit and sometimes even the credit card just to keep things afloat. But
all you need is a couple big accounts. You anticipate that revenue coming in, and when it doesn't come in, it messes you up, especially if you're in a tight margin business. So yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Kersten, I know you're itching to tell people about your latest thing that you're using and explain how it works.
I'm not going to tell you yet. I have a great tool that every entrepreneur needs to have. But before I do that, I'll tell you what the tool involves. It basically involves credit cards. And what this banker said is that what you do is you ask for payment from the client. You say, look, if you pay cash or a check right now, I'll give you a discount. A lot of companies will not do that. Some will. The second thing he says to do is ask for them to pay on a credit card. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, or a lot of businesses out there, that the decision makers, they run stuff through their credit card. They collect points. They get Aeroplan points and frequent flyer points, and they like to offset that. Now, to someone like us who's offering services, we've got reasonable margin built in. We can pay those percentages to the credit card companies, but then you gotta get the terminal and all this kind of stuff. Well, here's the solution. It's a tiny little product here called a Square, and it's by the developer, original developer of Twitter, and I think he created Blogger as well. Is that it, Chris?
I believe so.
Yeah. So he's come up with this thing called the Square, and what it does is it plugs into your iPhone, and it's a card reader. You swipe the client's card, you put in the total, and it automatically deposits it into your account. And
why don't you do a close-up on that one, Kersten?
Yeah, here we go. Just to show it up really close there. It's really kind of hard to see, but anyways, I will definitely explain this to you in future a little bit more. But here's the power of this: is that when you're in front of the client and they owe you some money, you can go and collect your funds, and you say, I wonder if you could write a check now. And they might say, you know what, we'll send you a check. So what you say is, well, why don't we just put it on a credit card and we can swipe it right now? The process is so simple and it's instant. And this is a great tool that every entrepreneur should have. You can pick these up. First of all, this little card reader is free with a subscription at squareup.com. It's basically a part of their service, so there's no monthly charges as far as this is concerned. They just transactional, and the fees are not extraordinary. So you can check that out. Chris, any comments about this?
Kersten, ever since you told me about it, I have obviously gone out, signed up for the account, and you had mentioned to me that you could pick up the Square up at the Apple Store. At the Apple Store. Yeah. So after we're done recording here, I'm off to go to the Apple Store to get this, as I have 3 clients tomorrow in which to get money from, and no better way than doing this. doing it, sit down in front of them and just getting the money as we sit there.
Yeah, there's other options. PayPal has a version called PayPal Here. It's the same sort of premise, and if you have a PayPal account and you can request for one of these, there is a bit of a backlog in Canada. If you're in the United States, I think you can probably get them pretty quick. That's another similar service through a PayPal account. And I should also mention, while we're on the topic of PayPal, is that PayPal actually is a great way of creating a web payment process. And now you've seen PayPal, Pay Now, Order Now buttons, and they're very easy to incorporate into a website. But there's also reoccurring payment structures with PayPal that are quite powerful as well. I mean, if you have people on a subscription, you know, monthly $300, whatever, you can automate that process using PayPal. It's just basically they're subscribing. But there's also a system with PayPal where you can set a monthly limit, so a retainer system essentially, and you agree to a term with a company that you're offering your services for. Let's say it's $1,000 a month or $500 a month. Essentially, they agree to that, and then you can charge them based on your billing up to that amount every month. All you do is you plug it into your PayPal account, and it charges their credit card. So one month it might be $250, the next month it might be $450, and the ceiling's obviously set by the client. Another great way of having constant revenue and guaranteeing that you're going to get paid that minimum amount every month from your client. A couple of tips for the entrepreneur, helping you guys out with your accounts receivable. Chris, any last words?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm totally bought off on this, and I'm going forward with it. I think everyone who is an entrepreneur or a small business owner understands the waiting for the check. The other thing that aggravates you is when the check bounces. So this is one way to get around the check bouncing, I'll tell you that much. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, you know what, we're not making a commission off this. We just want to share our knowledge with you through BizDev Weekly. If you want to get tips and ideas from us, check out our website at bizdevweekly.com. It's a part of newlucid.com, our television side. So thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them or give us a call at the number associated with this video. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Chris for joining us.
Thanks, Kersten.